Hi there. Today I'm going to be building the model Takemikazuchi that I unboxed in my other video. There's no way that this is going to be in real time, so expect a lot of heavy edits and fast forwards and stuff like that. But I'm going to be going through it as much as in detail as possible. I'm probably going to be doing just like a bunch of jump cuts and stuff to show basically as much putting the pieces together as possible, and maybe going through like, how do you do this? So how do you do this? Well, there's a couple basic tools you need. One is the instruction manual. A lot of this is in Japanese, so page 1, I'm assuming that's all about lore and stuff. And as you can see, get the glare out of there. And that's kind of like small print too. You probably still can't see, but there are many parts to this. Like literally hundreds. They come in little frames like this, and then you cut the parts out. What you need is a little, I think they just call it a, just a cutter? I don't know. I got that in a, like, computer hardware repair kit. You need a X-Acto knife. It doesn't matter if it's a literal X-Acto knife, it could just be a sharp cutting tool. And if you really want it to look good, a Gundam marker. I got this at an anime con for like $1.50 or something. You can get them online for in sets for a couple bucks extra, but they come out to a little bit cheaper per marker. Anyway, let's get down to it. So you don't need to know Japanese to build it, but it's basically like a really complicated Lego manual. Parts come in frames like this one. You cut those out, you put them together. It's just Legos for adults and nerds, maybe both, probably definitely both. So I'm gonna walk you through it. First little panel here, as you can see on the page before, there are frames marked A through Q, and then also poly cap 1 and 2, which are these. They're kind of like hinges, maybe. The first panel calls for frames D again, because as you can see, we need times 2, so do it twice. H again, and I. Oh, and N is already missing. Off to a great start. Here's N. It's a cool little glassy kind of decorative thing. Now it looks cool, but I hate this already just looking at it, because there's a lot of little tiny parts and they're all decorative, and it's going to be a pain to fit them in because I will have to cut them very precisely, especially these ones here. And I can also tell that they will have to fit into very small spots, sticking into little tiny pegs, which is going to make it very annoying. Anyway, moving on. So let's start with D11, it says. So Is that right? No, 17. Sorry, my bad. This is how we get off to a good start. Let's get all these other ones out of the way. So what you want to do is get as close as possible to sort of the rail that holds it into place and just snip it right there. And do that 2 more times to the other ones. And off it pops. And as you can see, there is a little bit here. Maybe you can't see it. I need a better camera, but there's a little piece that kind of juts out. You want to get rid of that, and that's what the X-Acto knife is for. A lot of people use sandpaper. I tried that once. It doesn't work very well. It just takes a ton of time, and when you're done it looks terrible. It just looks like somebody just decided to mess up with your thing. So if you have it needs to be really sharp, so get a new one when you can, or get a good one when you can. Okay, not all the way, but we got most of it. There we go. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Use your nail and make sure that you don't have any little edges. And then do the same thing for the other 2 pieces. There we go. You can still notice it visibly, but it's not as bad. The point is, it doesn't need to jut out. Now you can still use sandpaper to polish that out and get rid of the mark, but a better thing to do, I think, would be to just paint it. Now, I'm not too particular about visibility because odds are it's going to be covered up in the end anyway, but I'm not completely sure about that. We'll see when we get to the end. This is a really fine one, like delicate, so you can do it backwards. And it's smooth. And you repeat. And this is where it's going to go on fast forward for a while. Now you can see there's some pegs going out. Make sure you don't cut those off. Those aren't the things that you want to get rid of. You want to get rid of the things that were attaching the piece to the frame. Right here, right here. And there's a third one right here. These ones will connect it to the first piece here. So it's pretty obvious which ones are which, because one looks like a peg that goes into a hole and the other looks like a piece of trash. But hey, you never know, right? Alright, now I kind of did a cardinal sin right here, and I dug a little bit too deep. So while trying to get the edge off, I took too much off right there. You can see that it's all white, so that's a bit of a problem. Now I can paint it or just hide it and hope no one sees it. Probably no one will see it because I don't really show these off to people. H2. And while I'm at it, I'll cut off H6, which is another part. Now with some of these you can cut really close, like right off the frame. I'm gonna try that here. And that's a very clean cut. I think it's perfect. Alright, that's done. So this Gundam marker, as you can see, maybe really have to get a new camera. There's some subtle lines on these parts. Maybe I can find a better piece to show you later. Those lines can be filled in with the marker, and it just gives like a bolder kind of feeling, so I'll fill in these lines. Now if it was a success, you might actually be able to see the lines now when you wouldn't before. I did kind of go over the lines a little bit, and when that happens you just get a little Q-tip, maybe a little bit of water if you went way overboard, and just like kind of nudge it off a bit. Alright, what's next? These are D17 and 16 and H2 and 6. Can I just put these on? Yes, I can. So where do these go? This is one of the things that is kind of hard, is remembering which part is which is why you don't just randomly disassemble the entire frame from the start. So this looks like it's 16 and 2. So that just pops right on top. And now your purple has a black lining. And the same goes for this in reverse. Usually if you can't remember it, it's kind of easy to figure out based just on sort of the position of what's going on in sort of the surface. If you've got good spatial recognition, you can kind of figure it out just based on what's going on in the setup. Alright, so we're actually about half done with this one piece. Even though it looks really complicated, it's actually not. It's just got a lot of lines. Next is I4. So get rid of these. I4. And this frame has 2 of each number. That's because we'll be doing this twice, and it only has 4 pieces. So they just doubled up and said there's 2 of each piece per frame instead of making 2 frames. Because there's a lot of there's a lot of 2A frames and stuff like that. I think every piece except for this and the orange one has 2 frames. This is done. Okay. And I'm not gonna put black on black, so that's done. Alright, how do we put this in? Looks like this goes in between here somewhere. Right, there's a little nook that it goes in right there, and you can see that right here, and then really have to work too hard. It pretty much just snaps in. A lot of them snap in. Some of them you have to force in as you go on. And like right now, it's just like, okay, it's put in, it's done. But as you move on, later and later, it gets less and less accurate, and you have to kind of start to force things. That's when, you know, like, you start to question yourself, and it's a mental battle almost. Alright, this one, I hate this frame, I don't like it already. 18 and 19. So, as you can see, there's one of each, so... Alright, this one I'm gonna just have to cut at the 19. I'm gonna give a lot of oh, that's another thing about these. They fly off way in the distance and you just lose them. So let me find some pliers. So one thing that you don't want to do for sure is twist the pieces off. Like you can see right here, it's really tempting to just like twist this one a bunch of times and it just pulls right off. That creates a bunch of openings that you don't want. Actually, it says to keep this little bit. Instructions, it says don't cut that bottom part. I'm not sure how correct that is because it's in Japanese, and my Japanese education consists of 1 year I took in high school 10 years ago. So, okay, let's see how these fit together. It looks like they don't. It looks like they're just... Often what these are is they're things that you shove in. And actually... So for some reason it stopped recording, but... got both the pieces in. The first one, it was simple. I just pushed it in and it clicked. The second one, I had to shave off a bit more at the bottom, and then I had to just like jam it down with a pen like this. But it's ready to be connected together. If that's all it is. Yes, that's all it is. So. God. That's the one that I just spent so much time getting in. And it's gonna be a huge pain, isn't it? This is where some sort of glue would be handy, but I don't think I have any. Yep, that's gonna be a pain. Okay, I found some wood glue to put on it, so while that's drying, I'm just gonna put that to the side, and we get to do the same thing twice, all over again. So, that's probably going to be in fast motion for you guys, so I'm not going to be doing much talking. This is more just killing time while the glue's drying, so I'm going to be talking to you in a few more seconds probably for you guys. Alright, looks like the glue worked, and the first piece is together, and again, the other pieces that I was putting together, one of them went right in, the other needed some glue, so those to the side to dry, and add the next piece, D12. Okay, and that should fit right in here. Yeah. There we go. Alright, that looks like maybe a shoulder. Whoops. Alright, that's good. And then we repeat that again, but the little red part's still drying, so let's just move on to the next one. This is also a double piece. It needs H and I, which we already have, so let's get rid of these. Oh, this is polycap I, which is different than I. This makes some kind of joint. Ball on this side, and then a movable ball on this side. And then repeat that process. Another double. H10. H13. Polycap H. Alright, these are done. Put them on the side. And piece number 4. This is also a double. Lots of doubles. We need S4. S5. here's where the instructions get unclear. It says Q10. Okay, some kind of symbol there. I'm gonna have to look it up. So the symbol basically means choose whichever one of these you want. They're interchangeable. I don't know why they would use two different parts of, or two of the same part made of different materials, because the polycaps are a bit softer, which is better for like joints and stuff. I don't know why they give you the option. It's kind of weird, but they're essentially the same part. So I'm going to use the polycap because it's softer. So there's S, polycap in, put other S part in, snap them together. That makes a lot more sense now. And then put which side goes out. Oh, maybe that's why they have the option there, because I'm pretty sure there's only one of each. So, okay, that's even weirder then, but whatever, I'll take it. I'll take it as making sense. Alright, number 5. We need K. That's simple enough. 5 and 6. 6. How do we put this together? We need, oh, 2. And I'll get the J. Here. And here. Cap goes here. It's a bit big. That's what I thought. Hang on. There we go. Goes in here. And there we go. This is in, that makes much more sense. There we go. I had to cut off a little bit of the top of this piece here, polycap, but at least it fits. It's not going to get crushed. And whenever I have to eventually jam something into that hole, it'll fit instead of acting like a oval. So that's that. I think, yeah, I have to repeat that. So, alright, those are done. Now we connect it to these. Ball into the joint. And same with this one. Parts 4. From A, I need 7. $10. 30. 19. And B25. It should all go together nice Okay, that took a while, but now that's done. Now I just have to do it again for the other side. So here's something you gotta watch for. I put on, it looks like it's a knee or something, a kneecap. This is backwards, so I gotta take this off and I gotta take it off and put it back on backwards. You can see it's like the kneecap is on the other side. So that's gonna be frustrating considering how much time and effort it took just to get it on in the first place. That's annoying. Alright, I fixed the two, whatever these are gonna end up being. I've got a left and a right now. They're symmetrical. Now, parts 8 and 9 are also gonna be symmetrical. I need out. Okay, now I get to connect the very first piece with, let's see, which piece is it? Probably should have separated the symmetrical pieces. That's a mistake that I should learn from. Okay, this connects into here. There we go. That was a lot harder than it should have been. Alright, and let's see. Number 6, this is this one. That goes. Where does that go? There we go. Twist it. That goes in there. And this goes in here. They're the same, so it shouldn't matter. But it connects. Later, and this connects similarly, and these are the arm parts. Connect those later. Next we'll be doing the legs. Again, these are symmetrical, so one of each, and sometimes the opposite sides of what they should be. Okay, this was a bit hard to figure out. This goes in here, and just randomly shove that in. And then this goes in the back. This goes in the back. This should go in the back. There we go. Perfect. before I move on to the next step, I realized that I missed 8 pieces here in like the clear red parts, these little tiny ones, 8 of them, and that's probably because I just didn't want to deal with it and subconsciously ignored it. But I can't do that. I have to put my work in. So these are very, very small pieces. I think these are the smallest pieces in the entire kit, which is going to be really annoying. I'm probably going to have to hold these down as I cut them, which it's not going to be fun. So let's see if I can get a good angle at this while still getting the camera in. Do this as surgically as possible. Just realized that wasn't in the camera until I told you. So 7 more of those. Oh boy. Okay, so I lost one of them and it just vanished because it flew off into the ether. 3 of them I had to glue on, and 2 are kind of awkward looking because they weren't cut all the way. That one and that one. It's kind of crooked looking. But anyway, onto the body. time to take everything we got and put it all together. There you go, all done. Now, this comes with a ton of weapons and stuff, so that's the next step. I still have a whole frame or two that's unopened and untouched, and a bunch of frames that still have some pieces in it. So I'm probably not gonna put all the weapons together because there's like 30 of them or something, but I'll put a couple of the basic ones together, and oh, there's also a ton of different hands and stuff, but I'll give it a good loadout. There's one other thing that's optional besides the weapons, and that's the boost units, so that's what I'll do now. And with that, we're done. Unfortunately, I had some problems with the recording, so I lost a bit of it with building the weapons and the mounting bits. It might be hard to tell just from the pictures, but you might be able to tell that there's a second sword sheath on the back, which is kind of cool. It's in like a little clip thing. And there's a arm that holds a second gun on its left that comes down, or you can have it going up the top. This is just my configuration. It came with like 4 guns, I think, so if you want, you can just forget about the swords and then have 4 guns, 2 in each hand, and then 2 coming down from the mounting things. It looks really intimidating if you do that. And then there's some extra knives and stuff, small things. So yeah, that's what it looks like in the end. I'm really bummed that I lost the video for that. It's too bad. But at least I have these pictures, so you can see what it looks like in the end. So if you are still somehow listening at this point, props to you. This is a long video. I think this is the longest non-gaming video I've done. So, as I said in the part 1 kind of preview video, this isn't the type of video I usually do, but I do make some anime or Japanese kind of themed videos. So if you like this, you can subscribe and check those out. Leave a like, share it. And hopefully I'll see you around for some other kind of fun things.